The RB engine is dog. Hello and welcome to my new series called Fixing Nissan's Mistake. Now, I've got to hand it to Nissan. They really hit the mark with the R32. Drivability and the looks of the car, it really is a stunning car. But I think they dropped the ball on the engine, I'm not going to lie. Now, I've had this car for about a year and it's been nothing but a roller coaster. I've had some great times in the car, don't get me wrong, with the RB25 that was fitted in, but it has caused me nothing but problems. Now, after fangirling over this car for so long, it really does pain me to say this, but the RB engine is dog. I mean, 2 months later and 2 engines later, I'm still no closer to having a functioning, running engine. I've had help from a few Skyline experts and even they've not been able to help me. So it's time to take things into my own hands and take drastic measures. So I'm sorry to say it, but I am 2J swapping my Skyline. Now, I can hear the Nissan purists furious at typing in the comments right now, and I've only got one thing to say to you. Shut up. All I want is to be able to drive my car around without a tool bag in there for fear of it breaking. I don't think that's too much to ask, is it now? We all know that the 2J is a superior engine. So, I mean, to get more than 450 out of the Skyline, out of an RB, you're going to have to spend 5 grand at least. And that's if you're doing the work yourself. Factor in somebody doing the machining, the building for you, the tuning, you could be up towards 10 grand. But a 2JZ will just do it. It will do more than 450 stock. Now, what we have here is a 2JZ GE. Now, there's probably going to be more of you in the comments saying, oh, it's not even a GTE. But again, shut up. The 2JZ GE, it has the same block. Now, this is a VVTi, so it does have slightly thinner rods, but I've got non-VVT rods and pistons, so I'll put those in, and the sky's the limit, for more than what I need at least. Now, for me to be able to get what I'm going to be able to get out of this engine, out of an RB, again, I'm going to need to spend thousands. So, I've got ARP studs, I've got a 1.8mm head gasket, I've got some 700cc injectors, I've got an inlet intake plenum, which I'll show you in a second, a turbo manifold, and a nice pulsar turbo to go on there as well. So the engine is mated up to a BMW 330D gearbox with an adapter plate. So that's sitting really nice. Ignore the angle that the engine is sat at because I don't have a mount connected at the back currently. I'm just waiting for a shifter and some mounts to come before I can make that. So my power goal is 600 wheel. It's easily achievable with the setup that I'm running. So I actually managed to swap both my RBs, neither of them in the best state. So I managed to swap both of those plus my gearbox for this setup. Now, a friend of mine is making me a custom wiring loom to mate up my engine loom to the body loom and then to my Haltech ECU that I'll be using. So he's going to be making that for me. I will show you now the manifolds that I have got. So here we have, I'll just move this crap out of the way. Nice little log manifold with a 45mm wastegate port. This is a T4 flange, so I will need to change this to the pulsar style V flange. So that's going to be a little mod, but nothing too major. Now, you're going to have to excuse my messy bench, as I have been doing the most recently. But here is my plenum. It is huge and it fouls my strut top, so I'm going to have to make a little notch out of this here and weld that back in. The next job is the prop shaft. So here we have the Skyline prop shaft. I'm pretty sure this has been modded anyway to take the RB25. I don't know if this is a weld that's been put on there, I don't know if that's factory. Basically, I'm going to have to get these two mated, so this will get chopped here, this one will get chopped here, they'll get welded together at the correct length. Now, Something I've realised is that on the Skyline shaft you have this bit here which can go in and out, whereas if I do what I just mentioned and weld those together, I will no longer have that. As you can see, the BMW shaft has a spline on the end, so that can retract. I don't know if that's going to cause issues, something I'm going to need to look into, but that is one of the next jobs, get somebody to weld and balance this prop shaft for me. So this one's directed at the sensible guys who know this is a good idea. What colour do you think I should paint my block? I don't really want to go with the boring old black or silver. The engine bay will be going a nice gold colour. See if I can get a picture of that up on screen. The covers, I'm thinking I'm going to do probably midnight purple to match the car. Oh, I forgot to mention these mounts that I've got. So these are QFab mounts. They're off of eBay. They are for an S13, and that is why you can see I've had to modify them quite a bit. So I had to cut a bit here, I've had to drill completely new holes everywhere. I did have to extend the slot as well. Now, this is a bit embarrassing because I cut an extra slot in the subframe to be able to get the engine to sit further back, because I just couldn't get it far enough back. But this is before I modified the mounts. So now I'm going to have to plate this up from behind, because this bit of material here is just a little bit too thin for my liking. If I wasn't running 600 brake, I'd probably get away with it, but I don't think I will this time. So unfortunately I'm going to have to do something like that, but hey ho, you live and you learn. I do have another subframe that I could put on as well from the breaker car that I've got. And here's a quick time lapse of me removing the RB from the Skyline. Good riddance is all I have to say. joined me to be my lovely cameraman. Next task is to remove the bearings and piston rings from these pistons. Now these are the ones that I mentioned earlier from the non-VVT. So take these out, get them cleaned up, and then get them ready to go in the 2J. So many of them, man. Right. This is the fun bit. And these things were like a few quid. So they're not the best in the world. I should see. Come on. Well, that's one. See how it does on this one. One of them on the back wheel. Sounds about right. Oh, this is the one that I don't like. But we got it. Right, it's probably going to be easier to do these by hand. Right, now I've disassembled the pistons and rods, it's time to start cleaning with some oven cleaner. I've not used this brand before, I usually use Mr. Muscle, and I know that works a treat, but I think this will probably do. I'll probably use like a soft copper wire brush or brass wire brush, and maybe some Scotch-Brite. I've got some over there, so I'll probably use that. Poor thing hasn't moved in like 2 months.
Teach him. Teach him. Teach him. Teach him.
So I was going to do these one by one, but I've just read that you need to leave it for 30 minutes. I'm pretty sure Mr. Muscle you only need to leave it for like 10-15 minutes. So. Whilst all that's fizzling away, I'll show you under here. Let me just turn the torch on. So, as I mentioned before, I haven't made the mount yet. So, here's the 330D gearbox. I've got my shifter here. So, this here is very close, but that's how you're supposed to run it, as I'm told. So, let me focus. This bit here is close when it's in position. It is sitting a bit lower than normal, but what I'll do, I'll make a bracket that comes across to these mounts here, and then it'll come down, go across, and back up. Then the next job is going to be getting the downpipe to fit through this gap here, and then probably, I don't know, it's going to have to come under this bracket across and then meet up with this somewhere. I'll probably cut this back to like here. And I just wanted to show you for comparison the stock RB piston, and this is how it comes from factory. And as you can see,
This is you. This is the guy she tells you not to worry about.
Engineering.
see this guy here, this is the guy that watches you stuff his wife. This guy.
Well, man, this is the average simp on Threads.
And this is the average clickbait post on Threads. Only real use for oven cleaner, actually. If you squint hard enough at that, it actually says engine part cleaner.
You ain't got that on the website.
What is wrong with it? That is some prime Nissan engineering right there. Definitely not from a IS200. working pretty well actually.
Loosen it all over that side and then space it.
So that's come up pretty good. The grooves are clean enough for me. I mean, I could spend all day getting every tiny piece off, but I don't think I really need to. That's going to be more than enough. So I've found a slightly more efficient way of doing this that is a bit quicker than using the metal brush. So the 1000 grit Scotch Brite absolutely makes light work of this carbon build-up. And then for the grooves, I've just been using this, and again, absolutely smashes it instead of messing about like I was doing before. And before any of you lot start whinging about lack of oil squirters on the G, you don't need them, and I'd rather have my oil pressure where it's needed at the bearings.
Obama.
That's about as far as I'm going to go with cleaning the pistons. You can see the oven cleaner's done a pretty good job. So I've just coated them in WD-40 for now, just to stop anything rusting. So yeah, the tops don't matter too much. They're just going to get covered in carbon again anyway, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that. Do you want to grab the cam for us? I don't think this is going to work without any sort of extension piece on the vise. No, I'm going to need a pipe of some description. Extender. Hello. Nah, if anything, it's just going to break my vise. I knew that were a bad idea. Oh no. I knew I shouldn't have listened to you. It didn't even end it. Well, the vice won that battle.
What's next?
I don't know. Let me see what a hammer does to it. Broke a ring. I mean, it took that pretty well, to be honest. If you hit it with a ball peen inside. Taking it like a champ. Try the heavy copper mallet. Oh yeah. Oof. Both sides. Oh yeah. Nice. I want to see if I can bend this rod. No, that's going to bend first. Now I need something strong that won't bend like this. Oh, that is going to bend that. Oh, oh my god. Yeah. Good for like 500 brake then, I reckon. Easy. And there where you belong. Dog shit. All that's got to do is like and subscribe, and I won't come after you and your family.